Welcome back, brave rent-to-owners. Today I'm going to recommend two rent-to-own companies that I believe are legit in the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas. One of them is Divvy Homes. This is one of my all-time favorite, and I'll mention the pros and cons of Divvy Homes in a second. And the second one is called Utopia Homes. Now, this is a new addition to the game. I believe that they're just rolling out their program in Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I'm going to take a look at how they're different from Divvy Homes. Ready? Let's go. So Divvy Homes was one of the programs that started the rent-to-own movement in our area of Texas. What are the features of their program? Number one, right now, you only get to select from a limited number of homes that Divvy Homes already own. Number two, they have multiple flexible payment options that, in my opinion, can range from somewhat high to very high. Rent to own is not for people with low cash flow for sure. And because they have three different options for you to choose on your payments, you may or may not end up having a saving plan to allow you to save up toward your closing costs and your down payment. What are the requirements? I have a whole video on that. That video was posted a year ago, but it's still valid today. The important parts are you need to have 600 or higher. You need to have a 54, I believe, percent debt to income or lower. And also, if you are making, let's just say, less than $3,000, it's probably not going to be a good program for you because, to be honest, very few rents right now for that program are going to be less than, let's just say, 1,400 or 1,900. Overall, they are very reputable. They have great homes. If you go on their website, you're going to see a list of homes that they already own with their exact calculations for the down payment and for their monthly payments, which makes it very easy for you to select whether or not you can afford to live in the property. So let's just say, very hypothetically, that I'm interested in the Rockwell, Lavon, Wiley area of the DFW area. So here I can just click on the price. Let's just say that I believe that this is a good price, and it highlights that specific area for me. You can see it highlighted it right here. Alternatively, I could click here, and it will highlight the next property and so on. So if you found a property that looks reasonable to you, you can look at starting at $2,460 per month with $7,700 down payment. And then you can click and explore a little bit further to see what alternative payment structures are available. So you can see that they have three different savings plan. And depending on what savings plan you choose, you may or may not have any Divvy savings targets. So Divvy savings allow you to save while you're renting with part of your payment going toward the future down payment or your closing costs. Depending on your credit score and depending on your debt to income, they might force you to be in one of those plans. So for example, if your debt to income is not favorable, they might force you to be in a higher monthly payment, forcing you to save up to 10% of the down payment on the property. So this way, when you're ready to purchase, you are guaranteed to have the funds in order to close on the property. Once you filled out your application, and assuming that the system did not automatically kick it out, they will send you information about what kind of income and identity documentation they will need to approve your application. Once you are approved, you will be given a budget. And let's just say that they will say that you're approved. up to $2,900 per month. Once you decide that you're ready to go see properties, you select 2 or 3 properties from the table, you visit them with your Divvy Home agent, you make an application to go and proceed with purchasing one of them through rent-to-own process. You submit your application, and in most cases, your application is approved. And then literally within 7 to 14 days, you can already be unpacking your bags in your brand new home that you're purchasing with a rent-to-own process. These homes are called Divvy Ready Homes. Divvy Ready Homes means Divvy already owns these properties. Unfortunately, though, the big drawback of that specific program, Divvy Home program, is that if you like a property that is not in this current list, they are not able to purchase that property from you. And that brings me to the discussion about Utopia Homes. So Utopia Homes is a fairly new player in the rent-to-own market, but they're bringing to the table what Divvy Homes cannot currently deliver, which is you can choose a property that is currently posted for sale on Zillow, any property within your budget, and then they will purchase that property on your behalf. So let's take a look how they work. This is Utopia Homes. The URL is utopiahomes.us. How it works. You start by filling out an application. In both cases, for Divvy Homes and for Utopia, your application is free. You have to agree to a soft credit pool, employment verification, income verification, and a background check. Once you're approved, you are issued a budget. That budget will give you a price range. So for example, they can tell you that you're approved for homes within $340,000 to $375,000 price range. You now go and find your Utopia, which means you head over to a place like Zillow, and then you use Zillow to find homes that are within that price range. Once you found those homes on Zillow, you contact your Utopia agent. And guess what? I'm also a Utopia agent as well. I'm certified to work with both programs. Once you find your Utopia home, you go and visit several houses just to make sure that you select the best homes of the one that are available. And then once you decide which homes you want to make an offer on, I contact, or me, your agent, or your agent contacts Utopia, let them know what your selection is, and they proceed with making an offer. Once Utopia negotiates the purchase of your home, there will be additional processes. For example, you will need to pay your down payment, and also you will need to participate in a review of the inspection report. When the inspection report is reviewed and all the repairs are negotiated, Utopia will proceed to close and purchase the house. And then after that, after Utopia purchases the house, you can move into the property. What is they have a rent, earn, and own. Try to say that 10 times fast. So they have this little slogan, rent, earned, I'm so sorry, rent, earn, and own for Utopia as your motto that you're supposed to be happy about. And basically what they're doing is your rent is artificially inflated, and it's artificially inflated to deposit part of your rent into a savings account, just like you do with Divvy Homes, to make sure that you have enough savings in your Utopia account that by the time that you're ready to purchase the home from them, you have enough money to close and fund the purchase. How do you actually purchase the house from Utopia or from Divvy Homes for that matter? It's very simple. After you've lived in a house for a little bit and your credit score hopefully continued to improve and your income stabilized, for you to obtain an actual loan to purchase these properties, your credit scores would need to be over 580, close to 600. You will need to show 2 years of income, stable income. You'll need to show 2 years of tax returns and just a bunch of paperwork that loan officers typically need in order to process a loan, both for you and for your co-applicants. So all of your co-applicants who are applying for a loan to purchase the house from Divvy or from Utopia will need to go through this process of qualifying for a traditional mortgage. But in the end, you qualify for a traditional mortgage. Your traditional mortgage lender issues you a pre-qualification letter that allows you to purchase the home that you're currently living in, whether through Divvy or from Utopia. Let me know what you thought about these two programs. Now, I must admit, I'm much more familiar with Divvy Homes than I'm with Utopia, but I'm planning to work with Utopia in the next few months so I can understand their processes better. If you're thinking applying with Utopia or with Divvy Homes, please feel free to specify me as your agent, and I can tell you everything that I know about these two programs and how to successfully navigate their purchase and their application process. Those were two programs as quote unquote programs run by separate organizations that specialize in nothing but rent to own. But those are not your only options. You have a couple of more options that I want to mention briefly. Option number 3 would be homes listed on the MLS as rent to own. Let me show you. This is the MLS, multiple listing service, the typical database that the realtors use. And those are homes that specifically mention that they will consider rent to own as one of the ways to purchase the property. So as you can see, majority of them are going to be closer to the large cities such as Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, Louisville, etc. But you can find a couple that are a little bit further out of the way if you prefer to be further out into the country. For those homes, there is no program to run them. What does that mean? It means that, let's just say that we have a total of 245 properties in here. If we have 245 properties, it means that if we have 245 properties, it just means that you have 245 individual homeowners who each have their own qualification criteria for who can and cannot be approved for a rent to own. So the benefit of being with a program like Divvy Homes or like Utopia is that you get approved and show all of your documents, run your credit, do all of that good stuff just once. And then once you have your pre-qualification, then you can go and apply for however many homes that fit your qualification criteria. You don't need to be constantly dealing with filling out paperwork. Now, with this situation, let's just say that you just want to see 10 or 11 homes in this area. Great. If you like 4 or 5 of them, and you want to see whether the owners will approve you for a rent to own for all 4 or 5 properties, then unfortunately we'll have to sit and figure out with each owner what criteria they're going to use for approval. Now, there is a plus and a minus in that. The plus in that is that, let's just say that Utopia and Divvy Homes both did not allow you to proceed with their application. They just decided that for whatever reason, usually it's a debt to income, you do not qualify for their program. Or also you qualified for their program, but they gave you a very low budget. Let's just say that you want to buy homes that are in this area, but they only approved you for up to, let's just say, $300,000. So you have to be looking somewhere over here in order to find available properties. Now, that is the limitation of those programs, that they do not typically allow you to go above what they believe is a very safe number for you to purchase. With approaching the individual owners, because they don't necessarily have a strict a qualification requirements as Divvy and Utopia, very often you can purchase a home in an area that you wouldn't be able to purchase from the programs. So that was one more way for you to get qualified for a rent-to-own property, even if very strict requirements of the programs that I mentioned did not necessarily allow you to proceed. Also, both programs have to make a very healthy margin on your rent in order to basically justify their existence because they're there to make money, right? Because guess what? Both Utopia and Divvy Homes are commercial projects. The only reason that they exist whatsoever is to make as much money as possible for their investors. So in many cases, the rents there are about $1,000 to $1,200 higher than you would normally pay in a regular rent. And that might just be outside of your budget. So for that reason, the direct to seller approach, the one that I just showed you, might be a good option for those people who have what I would call more time than money to spend. So if you have more money than time, then Divvy and Utopia might be a better choice. If you have more time than money, then going direct to seller might be a better option. Now, there is also an option number 4, and that is to find an off-market property. Off-market means it's not listed for sale with a traditional sale agent or with a program like Divvy Homes. So how do you do that? It's not very easy, and sometimes it requires some patience and some time, but the off-market properties are found on special groups and special chats that are very often closed off to outside eyes and only carried through between investors. But as an agent who specializes in working with real estate investors and as a real estate investor myself, I actually am a part of some private chats where properties like that are posted among the chat members. Let me show you a couple of examples. This is just an example of a table that my assistants put together based on the chat room conversations that I see in private groups. So I see some property that are rent to own subject to an existing loan, which is a form of seller financing and seller financing. Now, typically, the benefit of working with those off-market properties is that those properties are scheduled to be sold to investors. So investors do not typically offer very high prices on properties. So if you can get a hold of one of those properties, you can probably offer more than an investor can offer, and therefore win the property at a much, much cheaper per month monthly payment than if you were to go through Divvy, through Utopia, or even for MLS Homes. This was a broad overview of the options that are available to you. You guys decide which path is best for you. I'm just here to assist you with whatever needs that you have as far as getting your home through a rent-to-own process. My name is Elena Garrett, and I'm a realtor in the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas, and I specialize in rent-to-own, subject to an existing loan, or seller finance transactions. Feel free to contact me with any questions about any of the things that you've seen today, and I'm happy to assist. See you at the next video.